K-pop Gen 4 acts have taken people from one surprise to another, one thing everyone didn't expect to see was how experimental and diverse their LIGHTSTICKS can become. Number 1. IVE Have Bong. Being one of the top girl groups of K-pop with every single track released quickly to top famous music charts in South Korea, IVE has established themselves an image whose concept is all about trendy, popular girls of the new era and whose music is earworm, addictive, and luxurious. That's why when Starship Entertainment announced that they would soon release the LIGHTSTICKS for IVE's fandom, Dive, everyone was super excited to see a design that is as posh and fashionable as the girls' image. However, as high expectations are more likely to lead to great disappointment, which is unfortunately what happened in the case of IVE when it came to their LIGHTSTICK, many fans have asked Starship to let them recreate the design as it looked too basic and boring. In fact, those who bought the other groups' LIGHTSTICKS said that the LIGHTSTICK of IVE was extremely mistakable, and when fans cheered for them at concerts or public performances, it's certain that no one could identify Dive from other fandoms. Especially when compared to the LIGHTSTICKS of Oh My Girl and Aespa, some said they were literally no differences when looking from afar. Even international fans, who often hold a much more loose standard than domestic fans, also complained, saying that IVE's LIGHTSTICK was criminally average and questioned why Starship didn't just sell the globe and stick and made the rest of it DIY, since having IVE's LIGHTSTICK disarrayed was still better than boringly arrayed. Others said, looking at the LIGHTSTICK Starship made for IVE, they felt nothing but a money grab and a flagrant disrespect, since after all the support fans gave the group through album purchases, fan meetings, and the girls' individual projects, somehow they couldn't even get a proper LIGHTSTICK design to single themselves out from other fandoms. However, there were also opinions saying that the LIGHTSTICK of IVE has perfectly portrayed the chic and elegant image of the group, as the act has always simplified everything and only kept the best of the best to bring into their work. The LIGHTSTICK should have been praised for wisely capturing this spirit and for keeping it consistent with the rest of IVE's image. The Cupid's bow placed underneath the logo, the dreamy purple-pink light only lit up on the logo, as well as how the on and off button, which is often round, is changed into an apostrophe, as IVE also means IVE, I have, and examples of Starship's attention to detail to keep everything about IVE elegantly flamboyant. Number 2. SSERAFIM Film Bong. Having one of the most refreshing concepts in K-pop Gen 4 girl groups, all eyes were on SSERAFIM when they announced an official LIGHTSTICK was on its way soon. And similar to the way SSERAFIM always tried to test the limits of the K-pop industry, as well as perfect every single detail of their work to its finest, many were extremely delighted to see the official design revelation. According to netizens, by opting out of the regular globe shape and going for the unique bat form, the LIGHTSTICK has perfectly captured the out-of-the-box spirit of SSERAFIM. Not only that, the simplistic yet high-fashioned and powerful yet feminine vibe of the girls were also portrayed through subtle details such as the combination of a neat front, a trendy futuristic purple, a metallic-like finish, and the petite size that balances everything out to be not too masculine. However, as the saying goes, so many men, so many minds, though this LIGHTSTICK is literally the embodiment of everything SSERAFIM represents, and it also limbs all these traits in the most artistic way, some still find it weird and questionable. While positive comments were filled in the comment section of the LIGHTSTICK introduction on YouTube, reactions of fans were rather different on Twitter. One tweet with about 1,000 retweets and over 4,500 likes agreed that the LIGHTSTICK made them cry a river, since Source Music took the word stick in LIGHTSTICK too literally. Others refused to believe in the truth that this is the official LIGHTSTICK, jokingly saying what they saw was probably only half of the LIGHTSTICK, and more surprises would be unpacked at the last minute. After seeing the real-life version of SSERAFIM's LIGHTSTICK, even more fans were let down, pathetically giving themselves hopes that the LIGHTSTICK would still be powerful enough for SSERAFIM to identify their fandom in the ocean of people at big music events. The efforts of Source Music in balancing out the masculinity of the bat shape with the femininity of the petite size also came across as weird. According to some, the group has tried a bit too hard to beat the basic Gen 4 LIGHTSTICK allegations, that they ended up creating something even odder, and though they have tried to welcome the LIGHTSTICK with the warmest embrace, because not many groups include the fandom's name on their LIGHTSTICK like SSERAFIM did, they still failed to take it seriously. Some joked that they would definitely keep the bat by their door to hit anyone daring to break into their home, or hit the zombies when being thrown into an apocalypse, or give the casts in Twilight to use during their baseball game. In fact, not only netizens but LIGHTSTICKS members also made fun of the light stick, and in one backstage video, Eunchae was seen using the light stick as a hair straightener for Kazuha's hair.
자씨,
네.
머리 한번 하고 가실게요.
은지 씨 좀 잘 펴주세요. 이게 오늘 생얼이니까 진짜 찰랑찰랑하게. 네. 오, 예쁘네. 됐어요? 네. 감사합니다.
The video quickly went viral, and after seeing it, fans said probably the hefty price of 49,000 Korean won was worth it after all, because the light stick was so multifunctional. Number 3. Aespa Dream Us. Considering the whopping amount of investment SM Entertainment poured into Aespa, lots of fans were confused when the company released the official light stick for the group, as the design was very basic. Looking at the combination of a full white handle, a transparent ball, and a simple plastic piece carved out to the name Aespa, and a disc of colorful LED underneath, many thought they were looking at a light stick made during K-pop Gen 2 era, where fans were easily settled for a light stick design that was utterly dull, technologies for light stick manufacturing was super limited, and companies' budget was extremely tight. Mize were so desperate that some had to self-comfort themselves, saying they were already super lucky for having a light stick, as some fandoms like CLCs didn't even have one until the X disbandment. However, not everyone managed to hide their dissatisfaction that well, and considering how Aespa's concept has always revolved around the cutting-edge technologies and the blend between virtual and actual world, obviously the light stick didn't represent their color well. The light stick garnered even more negative attention as SM Entertainment decided to create 4 different versions for each member, which was believed to be a money-grabbing tactic that didn't consider the vulnerability of the girls. As Karina and Winter are the most famous members, their light stick versions are obviously going to be sold the most, leaving Ningning and Giselle potentially feeling left out. However, there were also positive reactions toward Aespa's design, as some believe the simplistic design, combined with a futuristic hue of purple, had excellently described the Axe AI-based concept. Even the individual emblem deemed to be controversial was in fact not controversial at all, because 1. The color of the light stick was the same, so nothing would look different from afar, and 2. When each girl has their solo performances, like what they have done in the latest concerts, they will definitely enjoy performing more when seeing people not only supporting them as a group, but also as an individual. Number 4. NMIXX Mix Stick. While NMIXX's concept has been the main reason holding the group back in the bloodily competitive race of K-pop Gen 4, when the act released their light stick based on their mix concept, not only fans but netizens also went into a frenzy, as the design was so pretty and unique. People were also taken aback to see how JYP Entertainment could turn the traditional light stick frame into such an aesthetic design. While most acts would use the transparent globe as a covering for internal main elements, JYP made the perfect use of the globe, making it a water ball pumped out by the magical whale. JYP's meticulous attention to the making of this light stick was also shown through the realistic water mimic of the whale pump and ocean. Looking from above, the ocean even reflected the light in different colors, creating a more dreamlike and futuristic vibe for the light stick. However, the uniqueness of this light stick doesn't stop there, because as fans later figured out, there were also some operating mechanisms incorporated into this little masterpiece. Hopping on the DIY trend of Gen Z, JYP Entertainment has made both the upper part of the globe, the whale, and its tail removable. Combining this with a soothing pastel blue light that would well complement any colors, the light stick is said to be the most innovative light stick in the history of K-pop, because it not only looks pretty in the original form, but also in any customized versions decorated by fans. Right after some of the very first light sticks were shipped to fans, multiple fan-made versions of this design have already been posted on Twitter, and besides some funnily cute decorations, there are also versions that are literally works of art. For example, with these ones, the whale was completely removed to make room for mini stuffed animals and to highlight the special water pump detail. All of them were put in the hugging posture with their little hands. Then there are elevated versions of the light stick where tiny, colorful flowers were tailor-made to perfectly fit in the size of the globe. What's even more admirable about this version is that this fan has paid close attention to NMIXX's concept. To create a harmonious blend between her style and the axe as the vivid floral concept was exactly what NMIXX used for their opening stage for the latest promotion. This version, where white was used as the main theme, also garnered great attention. And looking at such masterpieces, some joke that NMIXX was indeed a special group, as not only the idols but fans are also super talented in everything they do. So why do you think some light sticks can be that basic while others on the list are made to be extremely pretty? Do you know any other unique light sticks that can easily beat the basic Gen 4 light sticks allegation?